Whoa.
You like it?
I love it.
It's my Halloween costume.
What are you?
Um, let's play a game called You Ask Questions Until You Can Make a Guess.
Crocodile Dundee.
Ooh, good guess, but it has nothing to do with a safari.
Mm.
Hmm.
Are you like a reality TV star?
Hmm. It's based on a children's book and movie that's horrifying.
Where the Wild Things Are?
Ooh, great guess, but no.
A children's book and movie that's horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's disturbing.
Yeah, it's actually the sequel to a very famous movie that was the first movie ever in Technicolor.
The Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm. Do you know the sequel?
Return to Oz. I don't remember. I've seen Return to Oz, but when I was a kid, I don't remember it.
Mm. It's a character named TikTok. He's all bronze. He's like in the
Where's,
military, the Oz military. So I have to
where's
fit.
your bronzer
I know I
skin?
got to put some bronze on. I also need a mustache. But see these glasses? They're because his eyes are green because he's from Oz.
Oh, of course.
All right. Well, that was
That,
fun.
that makes the most sense. It's
Hello.
on. Leave it on.
For the whole intro.
Yeah, come on. Hat, hat, bronze skin.
All right.
Yeah, good job.
I think I'm kind of digging it. I've got to go to a concert tonight, and I'm like,
It's a good look for you.
this is a look for me.
I'm going to a hockey game tonight.
Cool. Cool.
Who are you going to see, Tom? Oh, I'm going to the Bruins versus the Anaheim Ducks. Thank you for asking,
You're
Blayne.
so welcome. I wouldn't know enough to ask, but yeah, go Ducks.
No, go Bruins.
Ducks fly together.
It,
Ducks fly
it's the
together.
Boston Bruins. Go Bruins.
Ducks fly
No, no.
together.
Here we go, Bruins. Here we go. The Bruins have like the Smokey the Bear type mascot,
Mm-hmm.
like an animated bear.
Mm-hmm.
And at the Bruins games in Boston, he
Mm-hmm.
starts a chant, which is "Here we go, Bruins, here we go." But they have like a voice actor do the bear, and so it literally sounds like "Here we go, Bruins, here we go, here we go, Bruins, here we go."
I'm into it.
Yeah,
I'm
and
into it.
it's funny to hear that at a game because it's not like a hype up. It's not like "Let's go, Bruins." It's just that
Rip
like
them apart.
yeah, it's just a chill, like woodsy bear who's just hanging out. And he's like, "Oh, he's cool, I guess."
So when I was at Boston University for college, I was a sports photographer. Well, I was an all-around photographer, but we didn't have a huge photo staff, and I like sports, so I, photograph some stuff. And I would photograph some hockey games, which was I mean, was pretty fun. The most memorable one was Boston University versus Boston College.
Mm-hmm.
And Boston College, it's a lot harder to get into. It's a lot higher GPA. It's, more expensive, all the things. And the BU chant was, fuck them up, fuck them up. BC sucks. Just say it the whole game.
More of a blue collar chant.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't a ton of originality or anything, but
Is BC Boston College considered that much harder to get into than Boston University?
yeah.
I thought they were kind of on an equal level.
Well, it's so much smaller. And I mean, honestly, it is harder to get into, but I chose to go to BU because I wanted to be a photojournalist. That was my life dream. And the best journalism school in the country is UNC, and the second best was BU. So I didn't get into UNC. So it was a one-way ticket to BU for me. So like I was feeling, like I got into like a great,
Yeah.
I was feeling real
For what you
prideful
were
about
looking
it.
for. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I mean, my recollection growing up in the Boston area was always that those were two good schools. I mean, they're no like it's no Harvard or MIT or anything like that. I mean, for a city renowned for its colleges, I always felt like those were two extremely respectable places.
yeah, no, I'm real proud that I went there for sure.
And I mean, to photograph their hockey program, they have one of the best hockey programs in the country. BU,
I got
Minnesota.
some incredible opportunities because I was like real high on the photo staff, pretty, I mean, it was small, but I mean, I did good work. So they let me go. Like, this is, you have to remember, this is 20 years ago, and I was assigned this. So please hold your judgment. But I did get to go, like, personally one-on-one photograph Rudy Giuliani when he was like coming into like his political days or whatever, which was like a very,
When he was still beloved.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, it was a very cool opportunity at the time. And there were like several things like that I was, this is like, I'm really doing it, you know, for someone who
This
wanted to
guy
be a
will be
photojournalist.
remembered forever and everyone will love him always.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
not going to try to hook up with a girl on the Borat movie.
Things took a turn, you
Taking his
know.
or host a press conference at a parking lot.
Yeah. I remember like sending my dad the, like, so I would go take the pictures on film, and then my job, and the reason I got so high up in the department, was every night from like 10 p.m. till 12 a.m. I would go in the film lab and develop all the film from the day. Which I love. It was my favorite part of the day because, you know, it's completely dark in there and you could like just put on a CD just in the dark developing the film. But you have to be pretty good at that because if you screw up the film, the whole day's news is gone. So anyway, I like got those negatives and sent that Rudy Giuliani to my dad, and I was like big time now.
Did you ever jerk off in the dark room?
No.
Seems like a wasted opportunity.
I wish I had hooked up with someone in there.
That would be
but I
cool.
didn't. But that would be like,
that would be really cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's like a we shouldn't be doing this type
Yeah.
of up, you know? It's
Yeah.
always exciting.
Yeah, totally.
Ooh, is there a ghost in your house? Your door just shut.
Probably Jimmy, the ghost of Jimmy. Could be Oliver. Whoever it is.
When is Jimmy going to make a video appearance on this podcast? Just like pop in.
Jimmy? Yeah. Can you come here?
Yeah.
Right now.
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe. Can you come here?
Yeah.
There he is.
Find out.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Can you put that in? So
Sure,
you can hear it?
How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I see Blayne all the time and I never see you. I was wondering when you were going to sneak in here.
Here I am.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Doing well. Did Blayne tell you about her birthday party?
Not really. We talked about you having a birthday party, but we haven't really gotten into the specifics.
It's worthy of discussion. It was it was quite the thing. It was quite the to-do.
It was a big event.
It was a big event. For us, that's as big as it gets.
How has Blayne been now that she's 40? She turned into a monster.
You know, I keep asking her, you know, to tell me about like, so what's it like being 40? I don't know if she shared with you that I thought that I was doing very well with turning 40 until the day of. And then I had a brief, like, sort of breakdown about it and then was able to move on and haven't thought about it since. But
that was like a 1 week. It like was brief and then carried on for a week. But we got through it, you know.
But a big explosion on the day lingered for a few days.
Yeah, I mean, some people, those big decade points sometimes are kind of traumatic for people.
Yeah.
So I keep asking Blayne, you know, how is it? And I think either it hasn't settled or you had fully internalized it and you're good to go.
Well, look at me now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
This is definitely not a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Blayne and I talked about Blayne turning 40, like the anticipation of it.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of thoughts there.
Yeah.
But we haven't really gotten into the birthday. We'll have to do that.
How old are you?
I just turned 38.
Right on. Have you
Yeah.
started thinking about, like, sometimes around 37, you're like, okay, 40's
I
kind
mean,
of setting in.
it was definitely, it wasn't when I turned 37, but as I was getting closer to 38, I was like, because I still feel like the person that met you guys like 12 years ago.
Sure.
Right.
Right.
In many ways, I do as well.
Yeah. And you both look it, by the way. Like, you do
Thanks.
look the same as when I met you in like 2011 or 2010 or whatever.
Same to you. Easily recognizable. I'm
I
like,
got a
there
lot
he
more,
is.
but that's the thing I was going to say is I got a lot more like gray in the beard now.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes I'll catch.
It's in
No.
there.
Are you kidding me? You're dark.
No, something. Blaine has something about the lighting that's not bringing it out, but in certain
There's a filter.
there. Okay,
I think
yeah,
I have on just to make me pretty filter.
Got it.
You feeling yourself?
You're gonna have to
certainly from a hair standpoint, it's a lot grayer than that. So whatever you have doing is working.
Yeah. So like I'll occasionally like in the morning when I'm getting ready, I'll like, be brushing my teeth or whatever, and I'll just look and be like, oh, it used to just be like this little corner, now it's all over here and it's sprinkling around, and then there's some at the top of the head, and it's more like that where I'm like, oh fuck, like the glory days are over.
Totally.
And I'm also just tired all the time.
Yeah, my body has started to hurt all the time. Yesterday we were playing football in the front yard with the kids, and Oliver tackled me and I fell on my hip, and my first thought was, it's broken.
Yeah.
I broke my hip.
There's I shot a music video yesterday and we had to be on set at like 4 a.m. And the funny thing was, like, I was so fine to get up that early, which is not be the case. But normally after like a 1-day shoot like that, like me and the director or the musician or whatever, we would all maybe like make plans like, let's go grab dinner or let's like go out for a little bit. And all of us are in our 30s and we were all just like, I'm going to bed. Like,
yeah.
It was fun, but I'm ready to pass the fuck out. This is exhausting. Just can't be on my feet for 12 hours,
The oldest I feel these days is, and it's happened to me in 2 different contexts. One with like my employees who are in their 20s, and sometimes like we'll go grab drinks or something like at an outing that I plan, and they sort of make references to like, oh, it's hard to describe the ways in which they make me feel old. Easier to describe is Blayne and I went to see Mount Joy the other night. Are you familiar with them? The band? Apparently they're out of LA. Like the two guys are from Philly, but like the band met in LA, and anyway.
They were great.
It was a great show.
I really want to try to get the lead singer on the podcast. I've already been working on it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But anyway, we like 2 rows in front of us was a mom that we know through sports, like bringing her daughter and the daughter's friends to the show is like a fun little outing, So there was that, like, okay, we're connecting at the parent level, and these kids are, the next generation seeing these tunes. But perhaps more damaging was those guys to our left, babe, were really like, okay, old guying me,
Really?
It was just a vibe. I was trying to kind of chat them up as I would like at a fish show or something, fish adjacent, or any of the shows that we go to normally.
You like fish? You see a lot of fish?
Not
like the show tonight?
Not like,
yeah. No, I saw them too in 2015 at the
going to Deer Creek.
It was my 78th show. That Wilson opener. No, that was sick.
Yeah, I suppose, but like they were just so not down to chat, and so like you're just old. We have nothing in common, and it's just a weird, like, going to shows. I think of that being a real, hey, some of us are 5 years younger, some of us are 5 years older, but we're all fans here and roughly of the same ilk. Let's all hang. And now it's like, who's this dad guy?
Yeah. They're like, this guy does not have Molly, so we're not going to use
it. Right. Totally.
He also just used the word ilk. So
yeah.
Ilk is a parental word.
Yeah.
But anyway, shows will make you feel old.
You've always been
dadish.
A dad.
So maybe
even when you were like 28. You know, like
Right on.
you had this fashion already.
Right.
You're like your vibe was always like super chill and friendly, but like I could totally, when I first met you, I could have been like, this guy totally could have married at 20 and has 4 kids. And I would not be shocked. Versus like Flaherty or whatever.
Yeah.
I would think like he lives with his parents.
Yeah, I guess that's right. It's just like that much more true now. Like there's no, nothing I could say or wear would make it be like, oh, this guy's down. Like he's cool.
Yeah.
Like, no, he's
You'd
not.
be like that. If you, I don't know if you guys ever watched 30 Rock, bet that scene where Steve Buscemi tries to pretend to infiltrate a high school, and it's just Steve Buscemi as like a 50-year-old guy, but he has a backwards hat on, and he just walks up and he's like, "How do you do, fellow kids?"
Exactly.
I love that you guys still go to concerts though. Me and my younger brother Cliff,
Mhm.
previous guest on the show, came out to LA in April, and we went to one of the Fish concerts
How was it?
at the Hollywood Bowl. It was really fun, but we totally like midway through the second set, I looked at him like, I'm gonna sit down. And he's like, yeah, me too. And then the second set ended, and as they were coming out for the encore, I'm like, let's just hear the first note they play and let's decide if we want to leave or not. And he was like, and he was so excited by that. He was like, absolutely. I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to impose, but if you're down with that, I'm so down with that. And I was like, yeah, man, we got to beat the traffic. We got to get home.
Beating traffic and leaving shows early is definitely my norm now. Like,
Yeah.
I have no desire to battle it out for an Uber or like, yeah, I'll miss an encore too sweet. Even like the show the other night was going great. Like, I was
We
like,
had to get out of there. We had a babysitter. It's just sometimes.
yeah.
Not only do I do that now, but in 2021, I went to Vegas for Fish.
Mm-hmm.
I was staying in the same building.
No
They
excuse. Over
They
the
played
line.
at the MGM Grand. I was staying at the MGM Grand. 3 of the 4 shows I left during the encore because I was like, I got to beat the elevator traffic.
It's totally ridiculous.
So ridiculous, but that's where my head's at nowadays.
Well, I mean, the truth is, between the three of us, like, we've seen a lot of Fish.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's, if it's something that I'm new to or whatever, maybe I'm trying to catch that one song or whatever it is, like, maybe I'm more down to stay, but like, we have seen, like, how many
What else is
lollipops
there?
can you catch? You know what I mean? Like, oh, there it is again.
Say it to me, Santos. You said it. He said it to me.
I remembered. I knew where I was. Like,
I don't need to hear it.
I remember every time.
You told me what Santos is all about. I'm good. I'd rather go home. Getting old is fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys got to bring Oliver to a show.
I know.
Yeah, we're really overdue, and the kids are really on us about it now.
They're
And
very like down. I mean, they get it. They're ready to
We
roll.
hang out on the lawn in like the family section at Saratoga or something.
Totally.
It's hot there. Were you at that show? The only SPAC show I've been to where Danny was like, I mean, I've never complained once about heat, but it's hot. Like, it was like 108.
I think I was, because I think that show, I moved out to the lawn from the pavilion because it was
we were up in the balcony and it was just like radiating up and just staying. It's hot.
And I was just like, I can't do it. Like I have a second t-shirt on to prep for the sweat, and I'm like, even my overshirt is staining right now. So I gotta get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I made a mistake of wearing a long dress to that show, just like a tent.
Yeah, that's a rookie move, Blayne.
I was like, oh, it's just like it's a Fish dress. No.
That is nice now. Like wrong attire. Like you've been to so many shows. It's not like I would be like, why didn't you think about something from footwear or whatever?
You ask me before every event we go to if I really want to wear those shoes or if I really want to. What do you mean?
I ask you once and then I'm okay with it. Like you've made your bed,
All you do is go behind me and ask if I really want to wear X.
Yeah.
I think that's nice. I think that's nice to do that.
Right. For her comfort.
Yeah. And it's like he's considering your comfort level moving forward for the rest of the night, you know?
So Jimmy won't allow me to wear sandals to any kind of concert because
Shouldn't.
he's afraid my feet will get stepped on.
I mean, not only stepped on, you're gonna walk in, piss,
100%.
potentially shit,
Correct.
potentially a needle on the ground. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
especially like a jam band concert. Good God. Like, you need to wear military boots to those things.
He's got a hard and fast. I don't even try anymore. But sometimes when it's 100 degrees outside, your feet just want to breathe, you know?
Yeah, but that's the give and take of
Yeah.
doing it. Like a summer show, it doesn't mean summer attire all the time. Especially on the area where you're touching ground.
Mm-hmm.
You got to protect yourself.
Totally.
But that's also where like Crocs, put some socks on, wear some Crocs. You get a little breathability there.
I would never. I like an ongoing Twitter thread because, you know, sometimes people follow me on Twitter just about Crocs with socks at the airport. And just like, what are people doing?
What was the other thing you asked about? We talked about something and then you took it to a Twitter poll.
Yeah. I almost had it.
It was something where I disagreed with you. And then you went to
kale. Kale having sand. I said it tastes
kale
like
having
it
sand
has
in
sand.
it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if that's a thing. And then you went to Twitter about it, and everyone was like, yes.
Yeah, of course.
Kale does have sand in it.
It tastes, you get like a, you know.
The consistency's a little odd. I've never thought sandy, though. I don't eat that much kale, though.
You don't say.
Actually, speaking of salads, because I remember this about you, do you still do your salad meal on Sundays, Jimmy?
That's funny you say that. I literally just went through that aggressively this week. Like we had her party and then we had some other kind of outings. You know, the main thing was we got Mexican, like a taco bar type thing for the party. And there was a huge bag of chips left and like salsas and all the cheese dip and all that. And I was like, you know, we've made a hearty investment in this Mexican food. I owe it to myself to put in my best effort to just eat as many of these chips as I possibly can. The same applied to the cake. So it was a long week of chips and cake for me. Plus, like, still we had some outings and various things. And I was just like very much in need of a salad. Yeah, I don't eat salads regularly, but just as an occasional necessary cleanse.
Yeah.
And they're really satisfying.
Yeah. And it's always good to start your week the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right. Well, I'm going to get back to the laundry per your request. Bondo, it's been a pleasure. Good to see you.
Always good to see you, man.
All right. Have a good one.
See ya.
I have two things that I want to talk about. One is a creative career thing that happened to me that I'm excited about. And one is the quality of an audio tape. Which of those do you prefer?
Let's get the bad stuff out of the way. Let's talk about the audio.
Oh, okay. So I've been cleaning out the house for about 2 weeks and I have thrown away so much stuff. And I came across 2 boxes of audio mixtapes that I had made in junior high. And my first thought was like, I don't have a tape player. I don't need those. And then I thought, let me take a perusal. Like, maybe there's a couple I want to keep.
Or
and then
capsule.
Yeah, and then I perused and was like, I can't get rid of, I mean, I've kept these for 30 years. I can't get rid of these. And there were tapes in there that, like, I was really into Pure Prairie League when I was about 8 years old. And my dad, like, recorded it off a CD or maybe another tape. We had a tape transfer thing. So it's like the first band that I ever liked. And I have that tape and his handwriting's on it. And I was like, this is like, I can't, not this one. And then all my best.
I don't even know Pure Prairie League. I've never even heard of that.
They sing a really famous song named Amy. It's their most famous song.
Can you sing a little bit of it?
Can't do it. Not musical. Okay. But my dad and my first dance at the wedding was Pure Prairie League. It's like,
so I've heard it because I was at your wedding.
yeah, but Amy, you would know. I mean, it's a pretty famous song. It's kind of like Steely Dan.
All right.
Like,
I mean, speaking my language there.
yeah, I would say it's runs parallel to a Steely Dan type thing.
Also, let me clarify. I didn't mean to say the bad thing. I thought you were talking about audio issues with the podcast.
Oh, okay.
I said, let's do the bad thing. If I didn't realize this is what you were talking about. This is good.
Yeah.
I'm happy about this.
Yeah, no problem. And then my best friend in junior high and I would exchange like one tape a month, basically, of just like songs that we were digging. And I have all of the, I mean, there's like 15 of those. And then my first car did not have a CD player. So, I did the thing, if you had one of these, where I got like it only had a cassette tape player. So I had a cassette tape that I would put in and a cord would come out and go to a Discman, and you could like play on your Discman and it would go in through the audio tape. But I also made a lot of tapes for that car. So it would be like Blayne's first car, tape number 1, Blayne's first car, tape number 2. And then I have some tapes that I made for like old boyfriends. I don't know why I would have. Surely those were gifts, unless they were like psychopath like songs that remind me of you, which could have been.
That. Or it could be like you have a breakup and he returns stuff and it includes the tapes.
Oh, could be. Seems mean though. I don't think that is what it is. I'm still friends with all those people. I don't
like, here's the scrunchie that you left at my place.
Right. That I could see. But the tapes, that's like, I don't know, maybe. I do have these tapes. And then there's some of me reading. Like when I was learning to read, I would tape myself. So there was nothing in that pile that I thought, let's toss this out without a listen. So I ordered a tape player. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to the tapes all day yesterday. And it was a real transcendental experience because it's the versions of the songs that I love. It's like the Pure Prairie League tape. I looked for that album, that order of songs on Spotify. It doesn't exist. I don't know where it even, I don't know if my dad made me like a mix of just songs that he liked. I don't know where it came from. It was incredible. There's songs on there I can't even find on Spotify. And then I made we listened to one of the tapes I made for a boyfriend, and the third song on there was the Bob Dylan version of Mighty Quinn, which of course my child is named after, which is cool because I was like 16 when I made that. And then, and there's a store in Charleston called Loose Lucy's, Charleston, South Carolina. And when I turned 17, I would drive to Charleston because they would record tapes of original Fish shows. So like I would drive to Charleston, which is a 6-hour drive. I would buy the tapes. They'd make you bring this very specific quality of tape, and you would go in there and they would have like all the shows, and you would pick your shows and then pay for whatever. And then they would transfer the tapes of the shows to you. So I had like a whole section of just you think now like everything's available immediate. You didn't go to a show, no problem. It's just like available. Anyway, it's been really fun little weekend going through those.
That's really fun. I like
really
that.
Fun.
Yeah, I like that. I still have a CD binder that I keep that I would use in my old car. I bought a new car this year and it's a newer model, so it doesn't have a CD player anymore inside of it, which is a real bummer. So I got to figure out what to do with those CDs now because I don't have a CD player in my home either, but it includes some mixes from when I was in high school, like a driving mix, or even just like burned copies of CDs that are readily available, but there's just something about like that being the one.
Yeah.
that like you grow a sentimental attachment to, and then
Yeah.
obviously several mixes. One of my favorite mixed CD stories is when I was living in New York. Me and my friend went to go see Radiohead in New Jersey, like 2 hours away, and we rented a car to drive to and from the show, and the car had a CD player in it, and when we turned it on, a CD started playing that had been left inside, and it was this CD mix of Michael Jackson songs, but it was mixed in a very unique way where it just all flowed as one continuous track. So like a song would play, and then the upcoming song would start to spill into the outro of the previous, and it would just be mixed so perfectly. And it was the coolest find ever. And I remember like taking that CD home with me. I was going to leave it in the rental, and I still have it to this day. And like I used in my old car, I used to just put it on, and it would be like 50 minutes straight of just the best Michael Jackson mixed tape ever. And it made me so happy. I still don't know how it exists or where it's from, or if some guy just made it on his own and maybe he like gifts it in rental cars all around the country. I don't know, but that was so cool. Like if
That's
I getting a
awesome.
found like that is like priceless, you know.
One of the tapes I made last night for just a guy I had a crush on, not even a boyfriend, was like a lot of Van Morrison, who is my number one guy. It would be like this Van Morrison song that still to this day just means like so much to me. And then it would like fade out, and without an even break, it would be like the peak of Divided Sky right in Van Morrison. And Jimmy was like, what just happened there? And I'm like, did you like it though?
What was the Van Morrison song?
um Coney Island is my favorite Van Morrison song, which is just him talking. He's not even singing. And it like went from Coney Island, which is just like he's just talking, and then just boom. And then we did another one, maybe with like It Stoned Me, straight into the peak of Yim, back into something like.
So you're really putting effort into this.
I mean, well, I still make monthly mixes on my Spotify just for me, so that I can be constantly expanding my musical horizons. And the mix of those, nobody listens to them. They're just for me. But like I still like put the order together just so I mean, yeah, it's like
But
someone.
Spotify, you can't actually like bleed tracks together, right?
No.
Okay.
No. But someone who has too much time on their hands, I think. And it's like this.
No, I totally. I have so many playlists that are like for different moods, like hiking playlists, writing playlists, need to calm down playlists, like everything. Bedtime playlists are a big thing with me.
Bedtime
Love,
playlist.
love a good bedtime playlist. Sometimes it's just the Fukuoka Fish Show from 2000 because it's the most mellow fish ever, and I'll just consider that like my sleepy time
Do you
jam.
ever listen to the acoustic daytime fish set that we saw together?
In India.
No, Magnaball? Was it Magnaball?
Um,
Was it Magnaball? And Watkins Glen.
was that an actual acoustic set or was it just an afternoon set?
I thought it was acoustic.
There was an acoustic set at the festival in California.
It wasn't there.
Was there another acoustic set? I can't remember now.
Maybe it was just an afternoon, not acoustic. But anyway, I've always really liked that set.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to the one from California quite a bit, but I don't remember the Magnaball one.
I have photos of us from there. We were really having a moment.
I remember being there. I remember being there with you. I'm saying I don't remember there being an acoustic set, but maybe there was. I remember that afternoon set they did riding the Ferris wheel during it, and that was really fun.
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the other thing you wanted to bring up?
Okay, so I have in the past like 8 months been on this sort of journey of I don't really know what I want to do with the second half of my life. Perhaps not, I wouldn't really call it a midlife crisis, just to sort of, I have a lot going on and I maybe want to just hone in on things that I really love that are authentically me. And I've gotten into photographing bands and I really love it. You know, I like photography, I like music. It's like a very cool, I'm really enjoying it. And I have put some effort into reaching out to band managers of bands that I love and trying to like convince them to give me a photo pass. And I've gotten a couple of photo passes and photographed the events, and it's gone really well. Like the management team loves it. I do it for free. You know, good for me, good for them. I'm enjoying it. And then this week, I had a management team reach out to me and say that they had really liked the photos and would I come back for a second time to photograph the band. And they were going to give me like an all access backstage pass to the band. I'm pretty excited about it.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Is it an Atlanta show?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's for the California Honey Drops. I really like their music. It's like big band, like
oh, cool,
and like retro but fun. It's I really like it.
Way more photogenic too.
Mm-hmm. They have a
like
whole horn section.
Yeah.
They have horns, piano, a trumpet guy who's not in the horn section, separate trumpet guy.
Does he play the trumpet like this?
Yes, a stand-up trumpet.
Oh.
I don't know how you hold a trumpet, but that's really photogenic, right? That huge, like the way the light reflects off that, it's just great.
That's so cool.
Yeah, thrilled.
Congratulations.
And I've got one tonight that I'm on the like VIP media list for, which is cool because when I was at BU, to go back to that part, I would try to do it like I would do the sports because it was easier, but I would try to do a lot of music. And I'm going to tell you this story because you might like it. But there was a Fish show in Boston in 2002, maybe 2003.
Yeah, they were too. So
2003. Yes. And I really wanted to go to the show and it was sold out. And I was on I had like a media pass and stuff. And I was like, I can like just get a media ticket. Like I somehow thought that was very easy to do. So I spent all this time emailing and trying. It was just like crickets. Like, nah, girl, like, no. So my roommate and I got on the train and went to wherever the show was. I can't even remember, outside of Boston. And we got there and I was just like, well, I'll just get a ticket on lot. Well, that proved to be incredibly difficult. And the show was like, you could hear the screaming, like they were taking the stage. And I got so desperate that and there was like a laundry cart, a guy pushing a laundry cart. And I had like $100 bill. And I was like, if you let me get in this laundry cart, like I'll give you this $100 bill. Me and my roommate. And this guy came up to me and was like, hey, do you need a ticket to the show? And I was like, yeah, desperately. And he was like, I have these two, you can have them. And they were third row, like seats to the show. And we went in and it was amazing.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. It's like
I do wish that ended with you sneaking in.
I know. That would have been kind of fun. But I've never been, well, I have been that close just from pushing my way up or whatever. But this was like, I had a legitimate right there. Yeah.
And that was the period when no one cares about how much we talk about Fish, but that was the period when they had just come back from hiatus and those tickets were impossible to find. Because I know specifically there are two options of shows you're talking about. There was one in Worcester, Massachusetts, like an hour away from Boston or 45 minutes from Boston in February of 2003.
Yeah.
Or there was one in Boston.
It was the Worcester one.
It was the Worcester one at the
Yeah.
beginning of the year. Yeah, I was at that show. That was my first ever fish show.
Stop.
Yeah.
Did we know that before right now?
I don't know, but it's our mutual friends, Dave Cups and Ryan Flaherty. It was all of our first shows, like 6 months before we all met each other in college, because we were all seniors in high school at the time.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I went with a buddy of mine from high school who I credit with getting me into fish. Um, and it was all of our first shows because they had been on hiatus since we were 14 or 15. And we were like probably 10 or 12 rows back from the stage, and we ate mushrooms before the show started. And that show, they opened with You Enjoy Myself, which is like Fish's magnum opus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's super excited, like freaking out. Show opener with that. And my buddy passes out.
Oh no.
We're all standing and he just collapses to the floor. And I think it was a mix of the mushrooms hitting him, the like excitement and anxiety. He probably wasn't hydrating. And so I missed the entire beginning of Yem because I panicked. I had never seen something like that happen before. Now you go to fish shows and it's like, oh, someone's keeled over, whatever. Shit happens all the time. But I was like, this is my friend. I got to do something. So I like ran out to the concessions, and there was a big line of people getting like drinks and stuff. And they could all just see the look on my face. And they were like, is there an emergency? And I'm like, yeah, I got to get water for my friend. He just collapsed. And they're like, okay. And they all just like let me go to the front of the line. The guy didn't even charge me. He's like, just take it, go help your friend. And I ran back into the crowd. And at that point, there were like some adults around him, and he was like sitting down and was fine and stuff. And I came back and got him a water, and he's like, oh, I'm all good, man. I'm good. Thanks. And I'm like, well, I fucking missed the beginning of You Enjoying Myself for this. So you were drinking this goddamn water. You are drinking it right now in front of me. Yeah. Good times.
I've only seen one person collapse from mushrooms, and it was at Fare Thee Well. And I was old. I was a parent, and I didn't take it well.
No.
Mm-mm.
It's never exciting.
Mm-mm. It's pretty like well, I mean, there's a split second of like, did he die?
Yeah.
Right. And then, oh, he didn't die. And then what do we do? And then it's kind of like, he's okay. And she's like, but you're like the person who it happens to usually is like, okay. And then I'm not okay. I'm not like, that was scary.
Well, because for them, they just went dark and then the lights turned back on.
Yeah.
So they weren't witnessing everyone freaking out around them.
Yeah.
They have no concept of what really happened. So they're just like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. And everyone else is like, just freaking out.
Freaking out.
Yeah. Good times with fish. Did you hear, incidentally, trigger warning for people who are listening, because this is graphic, but Fish was playing in Chicago a week or two ago, and some fan apparently like gouged his own eyes out at the show.
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, like bad drug trip gone wrong.
Is that like an acid thing?
I mean, that sounds more like a meth-induced psychosis to me. But I don't know if he actually like pulled them out, but yeah, something gnarly happened.
Was he like up close? Could the band see?
I think like what I heard was he was like running around the concessions area.
Oh.
And like his eyelids were closed, and there was just like,
oh my God. All right, stop. Okay. What? Why? Tell me that.
And then another fan who was tripping saw them on the floor and picked them up and ate them.
No.
That part's not true, but everything else is, unfortunately.
Oh my God.
I said trigger warning.
Well, then I couldn't get out of it.
Yeah, you're not included in the warning. This is for the listeners. You're in this with me. Just be careful out there, people.
Well, I guess I'm older. I don't even, because it's so funny. Like, that's your first show, but I'd seen fish like many times before that in high school. So I guess that I am like, what, that 2 years, I guess, is maybe, I don't know, because I was old enough to go. So
Like in the
driving, or yeah, I was like 15. So, and you were 13. So, I mean, that is fairly significant at the time, whatever. But, when I was a teenager, the big thing was like, don't take acid. Well, I think at the time it was don't take LSD, because this guy thought he was a banana and peeled himself. It was a big rumor. It was terrifying. I was like, warning, heated. Accepted. Don't want that to happen.
I do not want to peel myself like a banana, so I will refrain.
Done. Yeah. Stick to
Say no more.
the rivers and the lakes that I'm used to.
I don't want to be a banana person.
Yeah.
I just want to feel a little buzz. Oh man. I remember it back then, the fish thing on the lot was the goo balls, like the ball full of just like sticky sugar candy that were weed induced.
I've heard of these.
Like almost like a weed brownie or Rice Krispie treat, but they were literally called goo balls. And it was just like a hodgepodge of shit in a circular form. And they would sell it as ganja goo balls. And it was basically just like Rice Krispie treat mixed with cereal, maybe like chocolate or whatever. And it was all just like glued together by sugar. And people would just sell them on the lot and be like, get your ganja goo balls, man.
I mean, I don't even have, like, I have heard of that term before. I don't think I knew what it was. Just, I mean, my food fears. We discussed them before. Like, the kind of willing suspension of disbelief of just like, I don't know really what this is. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the bod. That's never been something that I can do.
So I can safely assume then that you have never bought a drug-based food item at a concert before.
I have not.
Like from a stranger, you've never bought like a weed brownie.
There has been one in my home, but not one that I purchased.
Right. What about just food?
No, I can't do it. I can't do it. Jimmy's like big on like a chicken quesadilla or like a pizza. I can't. I don't know where that food's been. And I can be like starving. It can be like after the show and I'm just like, I must have some food. Do you remember the street chicken that you ate that time after MSG? Terrified. I mean, you were eating it and I was like, how? And you were like, it's so good.
It is so good.
And I was just like, good. I mean, there is no amount of like, I'm out of it that I would ever, I just can't.
Street vendors for anyone who's traveling to New York City. Street vendor cart, chicken and or lamb on rice. Put a little of that white sauce they got in a tube on top of it. You're going to have a great night.
I can't do it. I just have, the fear is too strong.
It's the best. That's like a go-to thing for me when I go to New York. I always get that once. Got to do it.
Yeah.
I trust them.
How do you know that like that chicken has been kept at the right temperature? I mean, it's in there for all day. How do you know?
Part of the fun.
No, it isn't.
I mean, look, they have to have a permit to be able to serve food on a city street. There's some regulation that takes place. And I think those vendors are so competitive. They're competing to keep their business afloat. If they're not up to par, they're going to get wiped out of the market.
I will do a bagel. I might even do a hot dog. Because I feel like there's something in a hot dog that's gonna kill. Like hot dogs are so processed. It's just like, I mean, you could eat a hot dog that's been sitting out for like 3 days. You're probably fine.
For sure.
But chicken.
Plus, they got like that dirty water city hot dog.
Yeah.
By making it sound more appealing.
I don't know. This is
like you would do a bagel from a street vendor. You're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what? How can they screw that up?
It's not a temperature control thing. I can't do a temperature control. You know, another thing that I can't really do is on lot, the places that have like bars and they're like, come get a mixed drink or whatever. I mean, I like drinking. I like mixed drinks. I'm like, I don't know where the ice has been. I don't know, like, have they touched I don't know. Cooler full of like bottled beer and White Claw. Yes, it's sealed. I'm into it. I'm always looking for that. I like it, but I just can't.
Yeah, back when I was drinking, I would never get the mixed drinks. It would be bad. It would be like the people selling beers, like 2 for $5 or whatever.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Not Jimmy though. Jimmy loves lot food.
Jimmy's a man of culture.
A heady grilled cheese, whatever. Yeah, he's
veggie
down.
burrito.
Yeah.
Push it.
Yeah. Not me.
I mean, there's something fun about it. Occasionally, just like it's part of the experience sometimes,
Yeah.
And you're also like, you're helping these people follow the band around because they don't have jobs. This is what they do to allow themselves to go from city to city and watch their favorite band. And you're like, you know what? I'm helping the economy.
I help the economy. I buy kids t-shirts. I buy koozies. I have so many fish hats. I contribute to the economy. I just eat before I go.
I ran into, this was pre-pandemic. There was a show out in LA that fished it at the Forum in Inglewood. And I did my thing where I left during the encore. And as I was walking out, I hear a guy go like, Tom Bond. And I look over and it's a buddy from high school back in Massachusetts who I hadn't seen in like almost 20 years. And I remember in high school, he was kind of into like the jam band scene, but not like some of my other friends. But he was there and I'm like, so are you a big like fish guy now? Like what's going on? He's like, yeah, I follow them. I sell posters. And that's how I bounce around from like city to city. And he's like, so I always get out here, before the show ends so I can catch the wave coming out, And I asked him like how he was doing with that. And he said he makes almost $2,000 a night doing that.
So he goes and early buys the posters and then
resells. No, not the official posters, like his own artwork. Like the fan made posters that are sold for like $10 or $15 a pop out on the lot.
Oh, wow. Is he like super talented?
I mean, they look pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, he says he makes a lot doing it. He's like, I'm not one of those guys who like sleeps in their car. He's like, I get hotels and go from city to city and clean up doing that.
I've often thought about doing some type of like tent and trying to sell some kind of art or something, because especially when I first started painting, like there's so many like music references and stuff. I was like, this is especially, the people who go to these fish shows and these dead shows I think they're pretty wealthy in general.
Yeah, that's like the biggest misconception about that crowd is that they're all a bunch of like homeless drifters. And there is that element a bit, but to be able to do that lifestyle, like you got to have some money in your bank.
Yeah.
For sure.
And, but my paintings are like so expensive, but it's sort of like, well, even if I sold one and, got some new fans or whatever like that, I think that it would sort of be worth it. But then the paintings are so expensive. I feel like people might be like, what are you doing out here? You're not supposed to be selling something over $50. Like, what are you doing?
I also think for you in particular, it would be difficult because you're not selling a poster that someone can roll up into a tube and bring into the show with them.
Right. I'd have to like ship it. you know.
You'd have to get there early enough that you either ship it or it's someone who can buy it like 3 hours before the show and stash it in their car
Yeah,
before the venue. Like no one's going to carry one of your kings into a Fish concert,
correct.
you know.
Yeah,
Especially at that price point. Like if I did that, I would be terrified. Like some idiot behind me is going to spill beer all over this thing.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Also, but I thought I could do like some type of koozie or some type of like smaller item that would maybe have people come talk to me. And I told the story on this episode about going to a art fair and having such fear of talking to people. Wouldn't have that as like any kind of Fish or Dead show. I'd just be like, yo, grab a beer out of the cooler. You want to talk about my art? You don't? You go on the show? Cool.
That's not a bad idea. If you did something like that, like a pared down version of your usual work, that would probably be a hit because I know for me, like whenever I'm walking down Shakedown and looking at all the different vendors, like the thing that draws me to certain artists who have a 10 up is stuff that's not like a Fish knockoff thing.
Yeah.
It's an actual art not related to the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you just have like a cool style or whatever. I like what you do versus someone who does like a cartoon drawing of Trey and Mike playing on a stage. I'm like, I don't fucking want that in the house.
Yeah. Maybe I could like just bring the kings, and then I do this thing anyway called heirloom paintings where it's a king, but you can put in like words or symbols or things that mean something to you. Maybe I could do that and then be like, you can put your favorite lyrics in. People really like those. I like doing them. They're fun.
Yeah, and then they can just order it and you can get their info to ship it to them after or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth trying once.
What's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, I lose some time, but I lose some time being somewhere that I really enjoy being. It's a bug. Yeah. Who cares?
And you have a pick, like you have a reason to be on lot too.
Right.
Instead of just wandering around and like trying to hide from the sun.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I should do it. Actually, this sounds great.
You should do it.
I wish Dead and Company was still touring.
You know what you should do is you should go to the Fish shows in Mexico because that's where the money fans are.
Yeah, but then I'd have to import. I guess I could just take paper. Or I could do them there.
Or you have like an iPad set up of your gallery as well, you know. Maybe
We're
bring
close
like
to Mexico. Are you going?
No.
You want to go? Should we have a booth?
In Mexico?
Yeah.
Too rich for my blood.